Hello, I'm Courtney Holland. Welcome to the final Season 3 episode of Save Our Towns, a series designed to guide and inspire those who are working hard in Appalachia to build strong communities. In this episode, we're off to Harrisonburg, Virginia, for a story that you may find surprising. We also check in with Cleveland in Southwest Virginia. And your expert tip comes from a West Virginia University professor who does lots of projects in small towns. Ah, Maxwell. He's not horsing around. At least that's what he wants us to believe. And our final segment, as always, is 3 questions for a mayor. First, here's executive producer Andrea Brunet with your example of awesome story from Harrisonburg, which technically is not in Appalachia, but it's really, really close.
Harrisonburg's 4th of July parade may seem similar to those of other small towns, with its monster trucks, tons of barbecue, people in uniform, crowds, and plenty of kids. But look a little closer and you'll see a key component of Harrisonburg's identity, its refugee population, which the city has embraced with open arms. The organization Bikes for Refugees was the 2016 Parade Grand Marshal.
We selected the Bikes for Refugees program, and behind them marched 30 refugees waving flags of their countries of origin and the United States. When they walked down Main Street, when they passed by, that's when the crowds cheered the loudest.
The inclusive Independence Day celebration in the city of 50,000 was more than just a moment. After all, the famous yard signs with welcome messages in 3 languages that have sprung up around America originated in Harrisonburg. For more than a third of school children, English is not their first language, and the student population reflects 57 different languages spoken at home. Harrisonburg's high schoolers are so confident of their standing in the community that they posted some pointed questions on YouTube.
Why pay so much attention
to the color of my skin
or the shape of my eyes?
Why hate me?
For the religion that I practice.
Or the country of my birth.
Beginning in the 1980s, our community started adopting more refugees and asylees, as well as immigrants, largely through the faith community and then ultimately through refugee resettlement. And I think what we saw is our community, nonprofit agencies and the faith community put together opportunities to help and assist with specific needs of these folks. By so doing, then making our community all the more welcoming.
Diversity aside, Harrisonburg has a lot of cachet. Travel and Leisure named it the number 6 favorite town in America last year, and Backpacker magazine rated it one of the top places to raise an outdoor kid. Readers of Blue Ridge Country magazine voted it one of the happiest mountain towns. These days, demographics count too. With anti-refugee sentiment having erupted in towns and cities elsewhere, Harrisonburg's commitment to diversity forms a contrast. The city even commits money to support nonprofits that help refugees and asylum seekers.
Harrisonburg is blessed to have a whole host of nonprofit agencies in our community, many of which are on the front lines of assisting immigrants and refugees and asylees, all the newcomers to our community. And that ranges everything from language acquisition and learning English to assisting them through the very cumbersome immigration process. And one way that the city assists with that is through the donation of community development block grant dollars, up to $75,000 a year to these organizations that are on that front line.
Those of us who work with refugees and immigrants definitely feel the city's support. We've held workshops with the city government to encourage refugee populations to develop their entrepreneurial skills. Members of the city zoning office came, as well as people who are involved in permits, and so the city has been very helpful and supportive.
In addition, the City Council voted to adopt the Welcoming America's Welcoming City designation. As an opinion piece in the Washington Post put it, who would guess that a city tucked in the Shenandoah Valley with a hard-working rural history would turn out to be a model of international coexistence? According to banks, Harrisonburg is one of the fastest-growing cities in the Commonwealth. It's also outspokenly proud of its foreign-born population. Coincidence?
Now for your Cleveland update with Andrea Brunet reporting. When you take so much money from the government, there are a lot of people up in your business.
It was spitting snow in Cleveland on a recent blustery day, but despite cold weather, Town Hall was the site of assembly for people involved with the $2 million of grant money pumped into this town. So how are things going? Here is the perspective of the project manager from the architectural and engineering firm.
I don't know any project I've ever been in that has been 100% smooth sailing, but this one has had its challenges, but I think the town is doing its best to try to overcome any of the challenges.
Already completed, a project to install facades to spiff up downtown and to make way for a campground, demolition of houses and a school. But more projects and problems lie ahead.
The specs and our plans are 100% complete. We're just waiting for the town to obtain another easement and some of the property, and then we can go out to bid.
That will be the campground, the swinging bridge, and the river park. And all of those will be bid out at the same time, so construction will begin on those at the same time.
But first, there are a few things to hash over at the meeting.
We have to talk about the property that we're still in negotiations with. We're in the process of getting appraisals and that sort of thing, so we have to talk about that.
They have determined that the property is worth $18,600.
The next step will be a written offer to purchase.
With so much to be accomplished and just a little more than a year to do it in, will the work get done?
Absolutely. I am confident that we will be finished. We have to be. There's really no other options. I mean, the funding agencies will give you extensions, but we have already asked for a couple of extensions.
We're hoping to find the right construction team that can come in and get those built quickly so that we can utilize these properties that we spent all this time talking about.
We'll come back to you in the summer with a special short video to let you know how the year played out in Cleveland. Meanwhile, it's time to see if Mr. Vandervliet can pony up some data in Maxwell's number.
Job loss is a big deal throughout Appalachia with the decline of industries like coal. Here's another industry that became obsolete, the Pony Express. Did you know that 200 miles per day was the average daily distance covered by one of those mail carriers? 200 is also the number of jobs that will be retained or improved because of a new grant. Changing young people's views of manufacturing is the goal of a $1.3 million grant. Executive Director Stephanie Surratt of Southwest Virginia Alliance for Manufacturing says many young people picture a dank, dark, dirty, dead-end job. High schoolers will learn otherwise in 16 Southwest Virginia counties where trade school classes will be developed. And companies with current openings will hold career fairs. Unbelievably, a majority of high school students did not know that Southwest Virginia even has a manufacturing industry in the region. Like mail delivery, manufacturing has changed, but it's still around. The grant is designed to retain 200 jobs and create 300 new ones.
As we go to your expert tip, let's recall what happened in Cleveland last year. Despite millions of dollars of grant money rolling in, voters replaced the mayor and most of the town council. Margaret Stout teaches public administration and, with her students, carries out projects in many West Virginia towns. She says it's a common problem that town leaders get ahead of their communities.
We need to start with relations and relational practices. And we all want to go straight for money and doing and taking action, and we haven't taken the time to build the relationships within the community and levels of agreement that will enable that money and action to be effective.
You can read a transcript at the Save Our Towns website where Stout talks about other challenges and shares insight about the process of change. Click on the Connect with Experts tab. Now on to a completely different topic, beef cattle and the work of an award-winning extension specialist who helps farmers bring them to market. Scott Jesse, along with his fellow extension agents, works with beef cattle producers in Russell County to use research-based health and best management practices to allow them to market their feeder cattle through the Virginia Quality Assured Initiative. Southwest Virginia cattle producers have marketed 580 tractor-trailer loads of quality-assured feeder calves, and they have increased livestock sales revenues by $3.8 million. For more information, go to the Save Our Towns website. You'll find Jesse under the Extension tab. Now we return to Harrisonburg to ask 3 questions of the mayor.
Dina Reed, Mayor of Harrisonburg, Harrisonburg, Virginia. Compassionate. We are a very caring city, a very friendly city. So when I think about my hometown, because I was born and raised here, I think about compassion. We are we are one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Virginia. So Even though that's a good thing, it can be challenging, especially with trying to keep up with that growth. So right now, I would say our biggest challenge is providing adequate resources and space in our school system to keep up with the growth of our student population. We call ourselves the Friendly City. And that's who we are. So I want people to know that we are exactly what we say we are. We are a friendly city. We are a welcoming city to our newcomers that decide to come here and live. We're a vibrant city. And we're just somewhere that we love for people to come and live and raise their family.
For more resources and contact information for the experts we interview, go to the Save Our Towns website. Send your thoughts about this episode to saveourtowns@vt.edu. This is episode 8, the final episode of season 3. Be sure to join us next season. We'll be launching again in the fall. Thanks for watching.